Back to my channel. My name is Becky Setre. As I said in the introduction, I'm a registered nurse working in the UK, and I like to give tips and advice to overseas nurses who are planning to come to the UK or those who are already here. But this topic today is going to be more of people who are still planning to come. Not only nurses, but if you're working in any other sector, or even you're a student and you're considering relocating to UK, you have children, and the question you have on your mind is, should I come with the children? If you'd like to know more about this, let's keep watching. If this is the first time you have come across my video, you're very welcome to watch my video, and welcome to subscribe, like and share as well. If you're already a subscriber, thank you very much for sticking around here. Anyway, so a lot of people have asked me this question. Someone asked, okay, I've got a 2-year-old or a 2-month-old baby. I've got a job in the UK. I would like to come. What do you suggest, or what do you advise? I've always said my own personal story. When I was coming, I left my daughter back home. She was just about 2 years old when I came to the UK. So I had no choice to leave her behind with my mom, and I had a house help who was helping to look after her before I relocated to the UK. And then about a year later, she joined me. Everybody's situation is different. You might be someone who hasn't got anybody to look after your children when you're leaving. So the question is, how do you manage? If you are married and you have, other children, and you have a husband, you're living together and you want to come together, I think that would be the best thing. But even that is always tricky. What is the ideal situation? Personally, if you ask me whether you should move to the UK with your family as you are starting life, especially if you're a nurse or even a carer, I would tell you honestly, no, don't do it. It doesn't mean you shouldn't come with them at all. Some people have come with them and they're able to figure things out themselves. Others came with them, they found it very difficult. My personal opinion would be, come on your own, especially if you're relocating as a nurse and it's the first time. You're coming to a country where you don't know anybody, you don't have any family. How are you going to manage? So my advice in that situation would be, whoever is the nurse coming or carer coming, come over. Another thing you should bear in mind is that most of the employers, if they're inviting you over to come and work, or they've employed you and you're coming to the UK for the first time to work, the NHS or care organization, they try their best to give you at least 2 months of accommodation, or the most you get might be 3 months. It is the same with the care homes as well. And these accommodations most often are single person's accommodation. They don't usually give family accommodation, because they're giving this accommodation to other people who also have come in the same situation like yourself. So they give them group accommodation. Sometimes it could be like a flat of 4 bedrooms, and they have a shared kitchen and a shared few other things. So those accommodations are not usually family types of accommodation. So it is difficult for you to just move with your whole family to a place you don't know to come and start life. The best thing, as I said, from my personal experience and my personal advice and my personal opinion, would be, you come first. You come and stay in the whatever accommodation you're given. You start life. You study the place. Familiarize yourself with the place that you're going to be living at, and see how things are. And then when you get, especially with the nurses as well, imagine you come with little children. You have to do your preparation for your OSCE, and you have to have these OSCE practice sessions. You'll be going to work, And the thing is, who looks after your children? You don't know anybody else yet in the city you're going to be living in. So how do you manage? So, and if you have your family around as well, you've got family commitments as well. You're back from your OSCE training or preparation course. You're home, you're tired, you still have to cook, you still have to do everything else. And that can be really, really stressful. Mind you, you need to find school for your children as well. You don't know the place, you don't know where the good schools are or how to go about application. It can be quite tough, it can be frustrating, it could be stressful. That is why, for me personally, my advice, if you have this question on your mind or you've asked me before, it's difficult for me to tell you everything via text messages. So I thought I should create this video. So the best thing is come over, get everything ready for your family before you leave. And when you come over and you have worked for between 3 to 6 months, you can comfortably bring them over, because by then you would have been able to move out of the temporary accommodation you have been given. You would have been able to find out which areas are safe for childcare, which areas are safe for, schools, and distances between wherever you're going to be living to your children's school. Because bear in mind, if you're living in area A, your kid's school is area H, traveling there, you're not driving, is difficult. And you might have to change maybe 1 or 2 buses. And in the UK, you can't just leave your children on their own to find their way to school. You need to help them. You need to drop them off. You need to be confident that whatever age they are, they can go on their own. There are laws about children in this country. So it is very complex. So unless, of course, the organization you're going to be working with is able to support you to find or help you get an accommodation for family, that is fine. Unless, of course, you have a family here who can help you to find that family accommodation for you and your family, that's okay. Unless, of course, you have a lot of money, so as soon as you get here, you can get that accommodation and you just hit the ground with your family, that's fine. Or you came with your husband, you've got a good place, and he is able to help look after the children. That is one thing we should bear in mind. It is shared responsibility in the UK between man and wife, childcare. It is very difficult. If you want to look at paying, unless you have a lot of money, that is fine. Paying for childcare can be quite tough if you're not careful. All the money you get from working would go into childcare. We don't have that luxury that we had home, where we have parents, family, aunties, uncles, or you can pay someone to come and live with you and look after your children. You will not get that here. You can do it, but it's extremely expensive. You can pay au pair, they call them, or you can get childminders to look after your children, but you should be ready to pay. Most of us have to share and do it between us. So I've got a little info about childcare cost I want to share with you. If you just bear with me, I'm just looking on my phone, so bear with me. So if you want to, average cost in the UK for under 2 years old going to nursery for a week, part-time of about 25 hours a week, cost about £137 and 69 pence. That is only for a week, so you can imagine. And if you want your under 2-year-old to go to nursery for full time, you'll be paying about £263 and 81 pence in a week. So you can imagine. And if the kids are a bit older and you want them to go to after school club, so if you're going to be finishing a bit late and you want them after school, which is about 3:15 to after school before you go and pick them up later, you might be paying for 5 days, you might be paying about £62 in a week. So as you can see, it's quite expensive. Accommodation is expensive, everything is going up, and if you're paying all that, how do you manage? How much do you get left in order to feed yourself, feed your family, and do all that? So as you can see, it is difficult. And if you're a single parent, unfortunately, it's even harder, because if you're married, yes, you can share this responsibility between yourself. One could work night shift, the other could do day shift. But if you're a single parent, it means you haven't got anybody. You can't leave a child under 13 years old at home on their own in the UK. You might find yourself in trouble. Even a 13-year-old, you can't leave them overnight, really, because if something happens, you would be in big trouble. So it's quite difficult, especially if you're a single parent. I'm not saying don't bring your children if you can afford it and you can get childcare, you can pay for childcare. Why not? Because how difficult that would be for you to, if you haven't got any trustworthy person back home to leave your kids with, it can be very difficult. And as a mother, it's very hard. So it's important to think about these things as to how you feel you can manage. Yes, your managers may be considerate, but at the same time, if they want you to do a night shift, you have to go for the night shift, because there are other people with children and they can't give you alone all the time that suits you. So it has to be shared amongst other people. So what do you do if you're going on a night shift? If in the morning you're supposed to pre-OSCE or preparation for OSCE, you have to report to work at, let's say, 7:30 or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and you're finishing around 5 or 6, what do you do with your child? Yes, you will find a childcare, but can you afford that? And also, another option people do is making friends, but when you come within a day or two, you can't just make friends who would help you. So it's very important to consider these things when you're making that decision to relocate to UK, whether as a nurse, whether as a teacher, or any other occupation you have got. I think I'm talking too much, but I hope this has been helpful to you. If you have any suggestions, if you have any questions, feel free to drop that in the comment section and I'll try my best to answer you. But I feel this might help somebody. Anyway, remember to like, subscribe and share, and don't keep it to yourself. I'll see you soon. Take care and bye-bye.